Hello everyone. This is part 5 of collage making. I already finished the first collage, remember? Each section I did for each class. Actually, I need to finish this part. I think I'm just gonna do it like that, something simple. So now I need to move on to a different portfolio. Remember, this is to help us decorate our portfolio, and that was one way of making the portfolio with the flaps. And this one is basically just like a folder, and I already have a video and I went over this. You just glue the ends, and we're using cereal boxes. So now we're gonna decorate it. So I'm gonna decorate one side, and because I had to do so many sections at a time, I pre-planned, and I took a picture of it. So this is gonna be one side, and then since it's all about layering, I was not gonna remember how I layered it, and I already changed it because I added this yesterday, and so it's gonna look a little different, but it's okay. And then where's the other side? And then after that, I need to look for the other picture that I took. Probably hasn't uploaded yet. Okay. Oh, this one. This is gonna be the other side. Okay, of the Barbie and Super Mario side. So I think I'm gonna work on this section first. Oh, hold on. My mom made pozole yesterday. Hold on. So I think I'm gonna work on this. Okay, I'm gonna look at what I have, and I'm gonna take out my designs that I need. And what I like to do is I like to lay all my things out so I know what I'm gonna use, so I know what I have available. Otherwise I get confused, and then if I don't see it, I'm definitely not gonna use it. And so I'm just laying out my work, my supplies. Okay, and I'm gonna start by layering. What goes first? The biggest paper. What do I want to layer first? What do I want to use first? And remember, I used a lot of magazines because all my supplies are at work. So I kind of had to use what was available to me at that moment, which is what you're going to have to do. And it's fine. So I've laid out all my things. And now I'm going to look at my picture. And it's a little different because I was adding things today. I found my book that I use for collages. This is my favorite book, Pride and Prejudice. I also have a Harry Potter book that I use, and I've had this since high school. So I use it to make art. And so I have this. Then the next step is to add the music sheet note, and if you were to see it, it's so vintage. It's so old, and I love it. So I'm going to add it. See which side is better. This one. Okay, so now I'm going to add some glue. Remember, it's important for you to add glue and to be careful and add a paper underneath, because otherwise you're going to make a big mess and you're going to mess everything up. And glue stick, sometimes it's not your best friend, and you're going to have to constantly wash your hands because they are going to get sticky. Somehow when they get sticky, they get dirty, and you can mess everything up right away. So add enough. Then I'm going to center it here. Remember, you can always get a sheet of paper. This one is really dirty already. And so you don't mess this up because you might tear it or something, do this. This is the best thing to do, and press. And if it's a thick paper, use something solid, because it, like this colored paper was so thick, I had to use the glue stick to press down, because otherwise it wouldn't have glued. Sometimes glue stick doesn't glue all that great, so you have to press it down, especially when it's a paper this big. If it's a really thin paper, you're gonna see a lot of like little air bubbles. You need to fix it. Okay, so I have that down. Let me look. And then I had these in the corners, but I guess I can use these. I'm not sure if I'm using the right supplies. If you want to cut a line straight, use something thick like this and it'll help you. Because if you're not going with the grain, it's gonna be really hard to cut. So I have something like this in the corners. And this paper is dictionary paper that I've had for years too. So I'm gonna glue it to the corners. What I want to do when I'm working on collages, I always think of covering it up first. So using like textured paper, colored paper, something that will help me give my work one coat. So if I have little gaps here and there, you don't have to worry about it because it already has that paper underneath. Otherwise, you could see like the cereal box sections, and I don't like to see that. So I always cover it like this. I put one layer of paper like that. And since I love to see texture and see how some of them I cut with the scissors, some of them I just ripped out, it doesn't matter. However you do it, a collage doesn't have to be perfect. Now I'm going to add oh, they were in two different sections. Now I'm going to add my birdie that I found in a magazine. And I'm going to add half of it to one side and half of it to another side. So I need to see if, hold on. Okay, I can leave it like that. So I need to add glue to the back. Let me use this side because that side is so dirty already. Especially like the corners. I didn't want to use the entire picture on one side. I wanted to break it up. So that's why I'm actually adding it to the other side, and it looks different. It looks each side has its own style. And I want to center it, so I had already folded it, so I'm going to lift this up. Make sure it's in the middle. And then press down with, especially with the magazine paper, it's so thin. If you didn't put enough, it's going to have these little weird air bubbles, but that's fine. Then I'm going to flip it over and do the same to the other side. Okay, so now I need to add my pictures. So I found this in a magazine. They were talking about earrings, but they somehow included paintbrushes, and I thought that was cool. And then I'm going to add my create that I made when I was working on the other assignment. Remember how I told you guys that you can always use recycle and reuse? You have to be very careful with magazine paper because it'll rip. In the other period, one of the sections, it kind of like fell apart and I had to glue it back together. This magazine paper is really fragile. It's really thin. I'm going to arrange it. I'm trying to make sure that I don't go over the holes that I'm going to use for my ribbon. Okay, so definitely I need the paper, otherwise I'm going to mess it up. You can add more glue if you want to, if it needs it, that's fine. Then I'm going to add the Create that I made for my other collage, and not everything fit. Remember, I've mentioned in the past, it's all about composition, how you place things, how you arrange things. When I think about that, I always think of symmetry also, like, can I do the same thing on both sides because it's easier to look at? Or if I put something on one side, I need to put something on the other side too. And can I cover like those lines? And also, I don't like to see like rigid lines like this. Like whenever you add two separate papers or two separate textures and there's like a straight line, I have such a hard time with that, because for me collages are free flowing, they're more organic, and it helps your eye kind of just look through everything. And so there's this straight line and you're like, what, why is it there, like what's going on? So whenever I see that, I cover it with something, I overlap. And since collages are about overlapping, that's exactly what I do. So the next one I'm gonna put is my shoes, which I love shoes and I miss not wearing my shoes to work. I have them stashed in boxes and I think they feel lonely. And so I found these and I thought they were really cool. From magazines again. So again, remember I have this line here that bothers me because it doesn't have flow. So guess what? I'm going to add something on top. And now the line is gone. And whenever I even do digital ones, I do the same thing. Then I found this tiny little piece of textured paper in the magazine. And I said, oh, I want to use it for something. I'm going to lift the shoe a little bit because I put it underneath. Like that. Then I'm going to put this Vogue picture that I found, and I'm always looking for different artsy things from the magazines, and I'm going to put it on top here because I want it to be overlapped a little bit. And then I needed to add something here because I feel like something's missing. So I'm going to add this section. And I love to use words and phrases and quotes from the magazine. And it doesn't need to be straight. You can do it diagonal. So then I go back, make sure that I pressed. Especially these little tiny ones, you need to make sure. See, my hands are already super sticky. And I'm sure, for sure, I need to add something here, but couldn't find anything yesterday. So then I need to work on the other side. Okay. Oh, and I found this one too in a magazine. I wish I could eat donuts. Donuts are my favorite, but I can't eat. Well, I could eat the vegan ones, but they're not the same. So this one goes in the middle here. Again, using my paper. This one's way too dirty. Let me switch. Make sure that I pressed all the way down. There's no air bubbles, especially with the magazines. Then I'm going to use, to cover this little section here, I'm going to use these two. And I'm looking at my picture that I have. Like this. Like that. Whenever you plan something, it's not always going to be the exact way you planned it. Especially because last night I was adding more things to it. And there was this line here. That's why I use these. But I'll add them. Maybe I'll add it up here to erase this line right here. Okay. And then I think instead of using the sweet at the bottom, I'll just add it somewhere else. Maybe like here. So I'm going to change it up a little bit. Then on the other side, I have my other shoe that I found. This cartoonish shoe. That I have here to cover part of this line here. See, like this. I put it here. Then I have these three words, but I'm not sure if they're gonna fit now, so I need to figure that out. To cover this this line right here that is bothering me, this section right there. Let me see. So I'm gonna put this here, and then yeah, the hope is not gonna fit anymore. It's okay. And all of these things I found in the magazine. So now I've covered that line, and I can put the hope somewhere else. Then I have to just finish the other section, which is, I think I bought a bag, like a Friends, like the show Friends, and I kept the, yeah, because I bought it at TJ Maxx, I kept the wherever the price was. I've told you guys that I keep stuff that I just look to see, oh, I can use this for a collage. So now I want to place it here. This is kind of thick because it was a tag, so make sure that you press down. If it's a thicker paper, a thinner paper, you need to make sure it's glued. And then this one, I'm going to add it there. Then I have the sparkle one. See how dirty glue sticks can be and messy? I'll put this one here. Remember with the collage, you don't have to do things the same side. You could flip them and move them. So now I am left over with two words. And I think I'm going to use them here to cover these spaces here, which will work out perfectly. Sometimes you have to change things around, but that's fine. There's no set way of doing something. It worked. Oh my god. This glue stick is super messy. Then I'm just going to do this one. I'm going to look at my picture to see that I have everything. And you can always go back and add more. Whenever I finish something, I always go back and look at every section and see if I need to fix something, glue it again, add more. Let's see. You know, I had to improvise a little bit, which actually worked out even better. Okay, so now I did this side, and I found these leaves that I have in one of my boxes, and I love them because all you need to do is just add the glue stick, and it's a little bit sticky, but once it dries, I just need to figure out where to add them. I'm gonna do that until the end. So now I have one side of my second portfolio finished, and it's just about laying all your work out, your supplies, everything that you have, and trying to figure out how to organize it. Like I've said, it's about layering. Try to cover the background first with a bunch of things. I've used magazines. I used the music sheet note, the paper, the book paper, dictionary paper. This is magazine, and then just try to figure out how do I want it. Whatever, you know, if I'm gonna fill this side, I'm gonna try to fill the other side just to make it even. And play around with things. You don't need to cut them, you can tear them. I love collages because there's so many different things you can do. And so just remember, it's all about composition, how you place things, how you think about where things should go, and that's where you kind of try to be creative and think, okay, I need to add this, I need to add maybe words, I need to add pictures, and also try to be neat. And wash your hands because they're already sticky. Mine are already sticky. Glue stick is very messy. Use a paper. Don't go like this because the paper is so thin, you're gonna rip it and you're gonna make a mess, and then you're gonna be upset. And then remember, this one has ribbon. Remember, once I finish it, I probably won't use this blue because it doesn't match that one, but once I finish it, I'm gonna use my ribbon so I have a handle. Okay, but I'll do that until the end. So that's this part. In the next section, I'll work on the back part. I hope that this will help you and inspire you, and so you can think about different ways of making